Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to round number 2 of WOR on F1 24, season number 1 on F1 24. I don't know what season it is overall, does not matter. We are leading the championship after last week out in Brazil, and today we're gonna try and extend the lead, which shouldn't be too hard considering Nicolas Longuet is not present today. I'm not sure who's actually in P3 in the standings, but doesn't matter, we just need to try and win this race here today. That would be the dream scenario, of course. A double win at the start of the season. Easier said than done though, here in Qatar. I've had a lot of up and down results here over the past year. I went out in Q1 in my very first PSGL race around here. Then I won the very race after that in WOR. F1 Esports actually not a great quali, but then I had phenomenal race pace around here. Unfortunately those lags and screen freezes put me back a lot in the race, but could have been a potential win. So yeah, I'm not sure what to expect today. In practice I didn't feel too great with the pace. It's always the question, of course, if that actually translates to the actual qualifying. You know, sometimes you feel like you've got great pace on a track and then you get to the actual race and you go out in Q2 or something, or qualify in P10. Sometimes you feel like you've got terrible pace and then you get to the race or qualifying and you suddenly get pole position and win the race. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. Brendan Lee with a 20.458, and I'm not sure heading into this what a good opening lap would be, especially in Q1. I didn't practice any Q1, I just focused on Q3 to try and improve the pace and the setup, because I didn't feel good with that. But yeah, 20.3 didn't seem too crazy to me, and I felt like I could do that here in Q1. I've had quite a few slides though in this first lap in Q1, but no major mistakes. A 56.483. Again, a 0.3 is still on the table here in the last sector, but it really depends what setup you're running. This wall section is all flat out, so if you're on lower wings, you're going to be usually faster around there, due to the fact that it's all flat out. Until the very last corner, it's all flat out. Up to the line, it's a 20.467.
That's just crazy. Never in doubt, chat.
And yeah, second run in Q1, I didn't improve. Now you can hear me say the gaps are crazy, and that was because at the time I was in P9, and yeah, I think that says enough. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but I did a 20.467 in P14, and I think P2 was like 1.110 faster. So crazy lap time difference between P1 and last, and that's the difference. If you're just not quite comfortable with the setup, you're just 10 positions down. It's crazy. But yeah, a lot of work to do for sure on the setup around Qatar in the next few months, because it doesn't seem great at the moment. Even though it's only 1.5 tenths, it feels terrible if you're down in P14 in Q1. Up to the line we go in Q2 then. This is our first new tire run. Our used tire run was great again. Had a massive snap in turn 1, but then still went third fastest on the used tires. However, that first new tire run was only P9, as you can see, so not ideal. And we're gonna have to improve her. Simple as that in the last run of Q2. Otherwise, we're gonna be out here in Q2. So full send to this. I did make a change on the setup between Q1 to Q2, which felt like a slight improvement, but again, didn't feel like the difference that I needed. It just felt slightly more consistent. Again, slightly struggling with the backhand. A bit of understeer mid-corner as well, which snapped to oversteer at the exit. And as we now go through that left-hander into the final sector, we're going to be around 700s up into the final sector. And the question is that going to be enough? We are a 10th up on Fabricio Donoso, but we have been too slow in this final sector. all qualifying sessions. So maybe we're running too high on the wings, not sure. Maybe we're just slow in this final corner. Maybe it's ERS related, not sure. We're gonna have to dive into that. But as we come across the line, you can hear me say no pace, and it's only gonna be P12, 2.5 tenths behind Thomas Ronar and P1. So yeah, no pace. At the same time, 2.5 tenths on such a long track is not that much. So yeah, we got some work to do. Together out with me in Q2, Joris Kroesen, Ismail Fassi, Tycho Hardy. I couldn't see who was in P15, but yeah, 2.5 tenths to P1. Only 1.5 tenths to P2, more or less. So yeah, no major time difference, no major issue, but as I said before, not quite comfortable. Now, Otis Lawrence in Q3 with pole position, ahead of Istvan Pukki, Thomas Gall, Jake Benham, Tom Manley, Fabricio Donoso in P6. But now, time for the race. We're going to be starting on the mediums around here. No rain, of course, around Qatar. And yeah, we're going to start on the mediums. A lot of people are going to be starting on the hards. But I want the track position. Not sure how important track position is going to be around Qatar on this game, because we've seen in previous races it's not as important anymore as on F1 23, but we get a great start of the line straight away up to P11. We go down the inside of Thomas Ronar, which moves us up to P10. You can see how much more grip we have than Brendan, who moves over, and that was very close to being a crash. And now we're going to go on the attack to try and move up to P9. I was thinking about braking really late there, but no point, because we will move up to P8 sooner or later anyway. We send it down the inside of two cars, making it 3 wides, but I made sure to leave a lot of space there to the outside, because yeah, you simply have to if you're making it 3 wide. So made sure to take a very tight line. And now straight away going on the attack on P7. Shanaka Clay on the hards as well. Unfortunately, he goes defensive. I was having a little look there, but not smart to go side by side through this section. So just decided to just step back for a second and then go in the attack on the main straight. You can see the grip advantage we have through that fast left-hander there. And now we're gonna turn on the overtake. We got much better traction, a little bit of a moment as I'm really trying to get a good exit here to move past Shanaka Clay into turn 1. And that's gonna move us up to P7. A little bit low on battery, but that's okay because we need to make those positions. We leave the space for Shanaka, of course, on the exit. And now we're gonna move on to lap number 3 on the attack again on Thomas Gall. We're gonna get DRS, but so is he, so that's not an advantage. But up to P6 we move from P12. 6 positions gained in 2 laps. Let's see if we can make some more. But as you can see up front, more medium runners. I think Jake Benham and Istvan Pukki, the only ones ahead of us on the hards. So we need to try and clear them, and then try to stay with the medium runners. Although, yeah, the question is, of course, how is this tire wear going to be on the mediums? Because Qatar is known for being brutal on the tires. There's basically only one low-speed corner. The rest is all high-speed or medium speed. So, yeah, those hards, as you can imagine, are going to be great later on. But we're now going to go on the attack on Jake Benham into turn 1. We're going to go around the outside. Unfortunately, I just slightly had to avoid Istvan there. And that kind of killed our momentum a little bit. Had to avoid him to not run into the back of him. It was just a little bit of a bunch up there. And yeah, Istvan just had to slow down a lot to obviously not take the person ahead of him out. And now we get a good run through the double right-hander. Unfortunately, couldn't quite make a move, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go for it one more time, but this is not a great overtaking opportunity. So I decided to recharge the battery a little bit. And as you can see behind, actually, we've dropped all the cars behind, which I didn't notice until quite long in, but I was just so focused on the cars ahead, trying to yeah, make moves on them. But yeah, as this train of cars ahead of us is being led by medium runners, it basically means those cars behind are just gonna get back into our DRS sooner or later. Because yeah, these mediums are incredibly fast, but yeah, after like 11, 12, 13 laps, they're not going to be too great anymore. We send it down the inside of East Van Pookie, who got front wing damage on the last lap. We couldn't quite see that from our POV, but he did get the wing damage. And that's why I decided not to fight us, because if he fights us, he's only going to drop more positions in a lap or 2 or 3. It's a little bit like fighting a losing battle. If you got the wing damage around Qatar is brutal, because there's so many high-speed corners. Now, on the F1 game you do have a lot of mechanical grip, which can help you out, but yeah, the front tire wear on Qatar is usually quite brutal anyway. Not too sure how it is on Qatar on this game, but Tom Manley has come into the pits for a set of the hards to the end of the race. I decided to stay out, because I didn't mind losing some track position, and not to mention there are no medium runners behind us anyway, so we're not going to be losing any track position by staying out here. We just have to play catch up once we've boxed onto the hards. But at the moment, I'm just in the DRS of Jake, and I'm more than happy to stay there, to be honest. And yeah, we're just gonna have fresher tires until the end of the race. Otis boxing at the end of lap 12. I decided once again to stay out for another lap, and yeah, just get a tire advantage at the end of the race. The question is, of course, can we get past? Because the hards that we're moving on to are the hardest compound available on F124. So yeah, the question is, are we gonna have that pace advantage towards the end? We're gonna have to wait and see. See how it pans out. We move past Jake here in lap 14 to take the lead of the race after starting P12, but we're gonna have to box at the end of this lap, and that's why I passed Jake. So yeah, getting clean air on my in lap, push as hard as I can, but as you can see here, going into the left-hander, the tires are not quite working anymore. They're gone. Of course, pushed
right,
a
let's
lot
have you in at the end of this lap, please.
on this stint. To try and move past all these people. Tried to move past Jake, which I failed. So in the last few laps, I could take it a little bit easier. But yeah, they're just completely cooked now. I'm gonna have to come in to the pits and then do 15 laps on the set of the hards, which is easily doable. Now you can see those 3 dots on the top right of the mini-map, which is in the bottom left. An Aston, a Red Bull, and another Aston. That is Fabricio Donoso, Otis Lawrence, and Tom Manley. All on the hards. They have undercut us for sure. But
Now let's see by how much we've been undercut.
But the question is, by how much? We've got Declan Barrett behind us on the medium, so he's gonna have a very fast outlap because those mediums warm up much faster than our hards. So, coming out of the pits, we've actually not been undercut by that much. We've got Declan Barrett on the mediums, 1.2 seconds behind us. But yeah, as you can see, just 2 laps later, he's on our gearbox. We have caught up to Fabricio Donoso though. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to take a loss here with Declan, who is on the mediums, and I didn't want to lose the position, but I also didn't want to hurt my own race fighting this. We shouldn't forget that we started in P12, and now we got Brandon Lee behind us in the kick. He is, I think, boxed at the end of lap 15, and also on a fresh set of mediums. And then there's quite a bit of a gap to Joris Cruzen, who is also on the mediums. I'm not sure when he boxed, but yeah. As you can see, Brandon behind us, going straight away on the attack. Again, unfortunate we are having to lose a position here, but let's not forget, at the end of our 14 lap stint, we did not have the pace anymore anyway. We played our cards right in the beginning and then decided not to continue fighting Jake, which I think saved us a little bit at the end of that first stint, which helped getting us this kind of overcut. Not really an overcut, but helped us not get undercut by more people. And yeah, the guys who boxed so early onto the mediums are going to have the same problem at the end of this race. So yeah, I'm not too much in a rush here. Tire wear is going to start kicking in for a lot of people, and we're going to have the best tires out of almost anyone of the grid at the end of this race, because we boxed so late onto the hards. But yeah, we're having to sit on the blisters right now for a few laps, with all those people being on new mediums, getting past us. So only 2 people at the moment, but yeah, we got 2 fast drivers behind us on a fresh set of mediums as well. So let's see how it all pans out. We got 11.5 laps to go. Fabrizio fighting Brendan. Can't quite pull it off though. Brendan straight away going in the attack on Declan there into the long right-hander. Makes it work again. And up to a net P3 goes Brendan. We are in a net P6, I think so. And Declan misses the corner a little bit there.
I was going to lose my there.
Had to step on the brakes there for a second, otherwise I would have driven into the back of Fabrizio and maybe caused an incident. But yeah, we have to go on the attack now. You can see that medium runner behind us, Joris Cruzen, another Dutchman, is behind us now, and we have to go on the attack. Fabrizio on much shorter tires. You can see he is sliding around, starting to struggle to keep us behind. We've got a full battery as well, because we played it a little bit safe in the past few laps. And Joris Cruzen behind us with the fast lap of the race. We're gonna get past Fabrizio here into turn 1. You can see Brendan going for a move down the inside, making it 3 wide. They barely keep it on track, almost causing an incident there. They did the 3 of them, and now we're gonna go in the attack on Declan Barrett, and we move up to a net P4 here actually. So you just have to keep a little bit patience there. I was thinking about going for a move there on Tom into the hairpin, but yeah, we've got time. We need to play it smart. And now lap 20. This was a little bit frustrating because Declan still had really good pace, and I had to keep using my battery in order to keep him behind. So yeah, I couldn't really go on the attack because I had to play the defense, and yeah, that cost me to slow down a little bit on the attack. And yeah, once again I had to play it a little bit patient. But lap 22 now, again on the battery for the defense, but also kind of wanted to have a look on Tom Manley into turn 1. We kind of get boxed in. We go around the outside, and we've got the space available. We can squeeze a little bit off track as Tom gets a snap on the exit of turn 1. Who gets a massive snap on the exit of turn number 2 and spins out. And yeah, that moves up to P3. Very lucky.
Was that crazy desync or?
We didn't get collected there. We did get collected, but it didn't do much to my car, and we didn't get damage as well. So little angel on our shoulder there. Because that could have been the end of the race, because you can see P1 to P16, 15, 14 is within 3 seconds here. Absolutely crazy. And now lap 27, we go on the attack into turn 1, making it 3 wide for a moment, but we take the lead of the race here in lap 27. As Brendan's starting to struggle on those mediums, as I said early on in this video. He's gonna run into the same issues we had early on in this race, where the mediums just start to fall off a cliff a little bit relative to the hards. And yeah, now we are leading the race, but we are a little bit low on battery, and we need to be careful here that we not get double pass as well. We need to be careful that Brendan doesn't come back at us. More than happy to have Otis re-overtake us, but the gap is half a second, and you might think, you know, that's enough, but yes, that half a second is gone, and Brendan is on the gearbox of Otis as well, going into the braking zone of turn number 1. So yeah, I had to recharge my battery a lot on that lap, which definitely did not help. It's gonna be a very tough last lap if we're leading, and yeah, it's not like I can just stamp on the brakes to let Otis through, because Brendan might come through as well. Yeah, not a easy position we're in right here. We have the best tires out of the top 3, but the question is, is it a big enough of an advantage that we can, protect ourselves from that DRS zone on the main straight? It's only a single DRS zone, but it is quite long and it is incredibly powerful. We are gonna have a full battery heading into the final corner, I would say. Not a full battery, it's actually gonna be 75%, and you can see I've started to push here to try and create a big enough of a gap to protect myself from Brandon and Otis into turn 1, but Otis only 3.5 tenths behind, and our battery is draining down the straight, and you can see it's not enough to keep the lead. Is it enough to keep P2? We go defensive into turn 1, Brandon goes around the outside, we break deep into the corner, Brandon gets a snap of oversteer, which saves us from going side by side into turn number 2, and now we have to wait and see. Can we launch an attack on Otis somewhere else in this last lap? You can see he's flashing, which means he's on the 10% battery, I think so. So yeah, I'm just recharging my battery here to maybe launch an attack into the final corner or something. It's not really a good chance for us to overtake somewhere here. Too much dirty air through here. But through the final sector, we're gonna get quite a bit of slipstream. So let's wait and see. Let's see if we can do something here in lap 29. You can see Otis running a little bit wide there, struggling to get the front in. You can see I'm using a bit of my battery to make sure I get that optimum slipstream, but I don't want to be too close as well. I want to get a run into the final corner in case Otis runs out of battery. You can see he was flashing for a moment there. I'm not sure why. You can see we get a decent run, but it's not going to be enough. And I'm going to try and save a bit of battery for this final run towards the line. A little bit of a snap.
I forgot that.
It's
I
not
thought maybe
gonna
we
be,
had a chance, but the finish line is closer.
it's not going to be enough. And maybe if this was F1 23, it would have worked because the finish line is like 400 or 500 meters further down the straight, but I doubt we would have made it anyway. 1.8 tenths though, it would have been close, I think so, but nonetheless, great race. We shouldn't forget we started in P12, and yeah, we had to come from far. We had to kind of force ourselves either into P1 or P2. P3 is not ideal, of course. Because yeah, you will never be able to overtake P2 unless P2 overtakes P1. So yeah, nonetheless, 18 points. We extend the championship lead, of course, by I think 18 points, because I think Ismail Fassi was in P3, so I'm not sure, but 18 point gain to Nicolas Longue, who's now going to be P3 or P4 because Otis won the race, of course. So 18 point advantage to Otis heading into round number 3. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.